Alright, why is my green deck box in frame? Don't look at that. Alright, everybody, welcome to my Bop. This is a blood stack, even though I have the old heroes for the art. It's a Prism DeckTech. Time recording, opened a box of Monarch last night. Got really lucky with it, pulled a Karen Husk. Just before dusk till dawn. And volleyball and stuff to do with Prism. So, let's see what we got. We have, first off, we have both young and old Prism. And so it is a 4 intelligence, 20 health hero, young. Really only need the young one for the deck because it's a bliss deck. I'm failing miserably right now. Once per turn, instant for 2 resources, banish a card from Prism's Soul, create a Spectral Shield token. And Spectral Shields are, we have 12 of them sleeved up because that's just who we are. They are auras, illusionist tokens, that say if your hero would be dealt damage, instead destroy Spectral Shield and prevent 1 damage that source would deal. So, since Vincent's not out yet, we don't just get hosed by Vincent blowing up all of them at once, but we have our equipments. So, I'm going to go over the main equipments before I go over the ones that we have to switch into. Apologize if the white card sleeves are blinding. We have Luminaris as our weapon. This card, I'm going to be honest, I don't think Prism should be banned. I don't think Prism should. I don't like how Living Legend works. I don't think Prism should be banned in Classic Constructed. I think Luminaris should be banned, though. During your action, but it's not banned in Blitz. So during your action phase, illusionist auras you control are weapons with with 1 attack, and once per turn, 0 for 0 attack. And then, well, there is a card with a yellow stripe in your pitch zone, yellow color stripe in your pitch zone. Illusion attacks you control have go again. So we can quite literally just banish a card from our Soul Prism's ability by pitching a yellow, make a Spectral Shield, then attack with every Spectral Shield we have, and every other aura we have for 1, and go absurdly wide in Illusionist, which can normally go obscenely tall. Then for our helmet, we got Halo of Illumination. It has Spell Void 2. It's a light equipment, but its main thing here is an instant for 1. Destroy Halo of Illumination. Put a card from your hand into your hero's soul. It's a light card. Draw a card. So that just charges our soul basically. It's used in both light heroes. Honestly, it's just so good in both. And you just pay 1 card in your soul. You pitch a blue. You put a light card in your soul, draw a card, and you just make a free Spectral Shield at the cost of your helmet. And for our gloves, we got Weave Reality. They have Ward 1 on Illusionist equipment arms. So if your hero be dealt damage, prevent 1 of that damage, destroy Weave Reality. And when Weave Reality is destroyed, we get a Spectral Shield. So it just gives us Spectral Shield while stopping 1 damage. For our chest, we have Vest of the First Fist. When an action you control hits, you may destroy Vest of the First Fist. If you do, gain 2 resources. It's literally just so we pitch a yellow to swing with a 2-drop, because a lot of our attacks cost 2. It hits, goes into our soul. We gain 2, we can either use that on Prism, or if we've pitched yellow, we have go again, because of Luminaris, and we can swing again. We have mainly just standard Iron Rut legs. I'm sure 1 Blade Break defense on the legs. Then we have our alternate equipments. Iris of Reality is a different weapon to Luminaris, and it says during your action phase, illusionist auras you control are weapons with 4 power, and once per turn, pay 3 to attack, go again. I would be willing to use this if I could play Prism in CC. Like, it's just such a... I want to play Prism to the point where I'll use the worst illusionist weapon. Then we have, just in case we want to in some matchups, it's just how you feeling, Goliath gauntlets, which are arms that you can action destroy. The next action you play with with cost 2 or greater, so most of our attack actions, has +2 damage. Go again. And then we have two things for a match point. So like Brute being Dreamweavers, which is action, destroy Dreamweavers. The next illusionist attack you can you play this turn loses and cannot gain Phantasm. Go again. So it just means an attack can actually happen, and that also has Spell Void one. But then we have Silent Stilettos, because we do not own Phantasmal Footsteps, because that is $200 some odd dollar card right now, I think. AB1, when an attacking ally you control dies, or an attack action card you control is destroyed by Phantasm, you may pay 3. If you do, destroy Silent Stilettos, gain an action point. So that just gets us some resources. That just allows us to keep going if we do lose something like Phantasm, having to have like a blue in hand. But now let's get into the actual cards in the deck, and it's not a very expensive deck to build, I've learned. Blitz decks are kind of cheap in general for the main deck, and honestly, the equipment, like Luminar, is the most expensive one. I mean, obviously, you could spike the price of a copy of Silent Stilettos, but neither here nor there. So, we're running all 6 available copies of Herald of Protection. It is a 2-drop, block 3. We run it in red, blue, and yellow. So it's either a 7, 6, or 5 attack. Phantasm, which is going to be on like all our attacks. And if Herald Protection hits, put it into your hero's soul and create a Spectral Shield. So we just want to throw this out, hit with it, make a Spectral Shield. If we pitch a yellow, it has go again. Because the Luminaris is just... Once again, they could, if they banned Luminaris, they could bring Prism back in CC. And then we have red, blue, and yellow Herald of Tenacity, which is a 2-drop. It either goes in for 6, 5, or 4. Dominate. If it hits, it goes into your hero's soul and Phantasm. And we can pay 2 to banish from Soulmate Spectral Shield, because that's just how Prism works. Then we run red and yellow Herald of Ravages, which is for 2, block 3. So the Tenacity is also a 3 block. 7 attack or 6 attack on the yellows. Phantasm. If it hits, it goes into our soul and we deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. So we just gotta ping them for an additional 1 if that one hits. Then we run 2 yellow Heralds of Rebirth for 2, block 3, Phantasm, attack for 6. If Herald of Rebirth hits, put into your hero's soul and put up to 1 card with Phantasm from your graveyard on the top of your deck. So we just kind of can recur something that didn't go to our soul, that had Phantasm, and just kind of get it to use it, a chance at using it again. Then we run blue, yellow, and reds. War Wartune Herald, which is all block 3s, a 7, 6, or 5 attack, depending on which color it is. Phantasm. When Whirlwind Herald hits, it goes into our soul, but the reason we run so many is because it's a 1-drop. So if we have a yellow in hand and 2 copies of this, we can swing both because of Luminaris. Then we have red, yellow, and blue Herald of Triumphs, which is, once again, either a 7, 6, or 5 attack. Phantasm, block 3, cost 2, the usual. If Herald of Triumph hits, put into your hero's soul. And attack action cards have -1 while defending Herald of Triumph, which means if our opponent tries to trigger Phantasm, they'll need a 7 block to blow up Herald of Triumph instead of a 6 block. I mean, instead of a 6 attack, they'll need a 7 attack because it will go down by 1. So you need 7 or greater to Phantasm that. Then we have Herald of Judgment at 2 copies, which is a Prism specialization for 2, 6 attack, block 3. And then if Herald of Judgment hits, put into your hero's soul, and defending hero can't play cards from their banish zone until the end of their next turn. I'm gonna be honest, part of the reason I like this so much is I don't like Chain. There's a Chain player at my store, and Chain and Doranthea, man, I just don't like them. And that's all we got for attack actions. But then we have non-attack action auras, which Luminaris can make attack. So we have Pierce Reality. It's a 2-block, 0-drop Illusionist action aura. The first Illusionist attack action card you play each turn has +2. It says Spectra. So if they swing at this, it just kind of ends all the things they can do. It basically ends their turn because Go Again doesn't trigger the combat chain closes. Like they declare the attack at it, the combat chain closes. And it just so they can either blow it up or deal with all our attacks having +2. And that's a 0-drop. So then we're on 2 Parable of Humanities, which is a 4-drop, no block, which is a little worrying. Spectra again, but attacks, actions, cards controlled by an opponent have -1 while attacking and defending. So we're taking 1 less damage while he's on the field, but they need 1 more point to trigger Phantasm. It's just gets in so many people's way if we have this, because like now the brute needs a 7-drop, or they can swing at it, but that takes their entire turn, basically their entire turn. We have one of Merciful Retribution, another 4-drop 0-block with Spectra. Whenever an aura or attack action you control is destroyed, deal 1 damage, 1 arcane damage to target hero. If it's a non-token light card, put it into your hero's soul. So essentially, if any of our other auras get blown up, or our attack actions, we just get to ping for 1 while it's on the field. Spectra just, unless they can sequence it well, like I was able to sequence plays well with Assassin using Arachne around a Prism the other night, and just I was able to get around Spectra. So there are ways around it, but it's good against a lot of heroes. Ode to Wrath, 4, cost 0, no block, Spectra. Whenever a source you control deals damage to an opponent, they lose 1. Illusionist attack actions you control have Go Again. So just your attack action cards have Go Again, and you can swing your entire hand without needing to worry about getting the pitch right. So you can pitch your blues, swing your entire hand out if you have this. And whenever a source you control deals damage, they lose an additional 1, which makes our spectral shields, if they hit, they go in for 2 now. Then we have 1 Haze Binding, which is a 2-block with Spectra, 0 cost, blue. Once per turn effect, whenever Haze Binding or another illusionist non-attack aura you control is destroyed, create a spectral shield. It protects our other auras by giving us spectral shields in replacement for them, kind of. We have the most powerful card in the deck, Genesis. 4 cost, yellow, with Spectra. At the start of your turn, you may put a card from your hand into your hero's soul. It's an illusionist card, create a spectral shield token. It's a light card, draw a card. We have a lot of light illusionist cards in the deck. This is just create a spectral. This is just at the start of your turn, you put a card into your soul, draw a card, make a spectral shield. Then you just go to town with an extra spectral shield every turn. So I'm gonna shuffle this up and do a few little. I'm gonna do a test hand, show y'all how Prism just generically plays. Let's cut the deck. Top 4. Interesting, we not get a single yellow. I'm gonna look at the equipment real quick so I remember how they work. Uh, so in all honesty, I feel like the best bet would be to pitch the haze binding to crack the halo, put one of these cards into our hand and draw a card, and we'll have two resources floating. So let's put the Herald of, let's see, let's put that into our Hero's Soul, and we draw a card. There's that yellow. So we could, in theory, pay our last two to make a Spectral Shield at instant speed, and then pitch the yellow to go in with like the Herald of Protection or the Herald of Tenacity. And so we'd have, and then we go in, since that has go again with our Spectral Shield, so we've swung for a grand total of around 7 damage. 6 Fit would have Dominates on 2 attacks, which is not a bad startup. But if we get a hand that's like a yellow, 2 attacks, we could pitch the yellow, attack, pitch the blue, attack again. That's a 7 drop and a 6 drop attack. It's an attack for 7 and 6 in one turn, which can be kind of nutty. Which is. It's all on back of Luminaris. Luminaris can just break. Luminaris is the reason Prism is banned in CC. But that has been my Prism Blitz DeckTech. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to, yeah.